Captain John Paul Jones and his crew set sail from France in 1779 along with 4 ships from the United States. But what harrowing threats awaited them in their journey? And how did they find themselves in a deadly battle with British enemies? Keep watching to find out. September 23, 1779 was the fateful day for the Bonhomme Richard, a now infamous U.S. warship. Along their journey, the ship crossed paths with the Serapis and the Countess of Scarborough, 2 armed vessels looking for a fight. In what was later named the Battle of Flamborough Head, the opposing sides dueled for nearly 4 hours. The Serapis was on its maiden voyage, and its main mission was to protect merchant ships from pirates. The Bonhomme Richard, meanwhile, had set sail with 4 other ships, the USS Alliance, Pallas, Vengeance, and Seraph. Their travels were uneventful until that night when, at around 6 p.m., the Serapis challenged the Bonhomme Richard. John Paul Jones was an experienced captain. He had signed up for a 7-year sailor's apprenticeship when he was just 13 years old, learning navigation skills as he grew more experienced. Jones worked briefly on merchant and slave trading ships, but he later quit slaving in disgust, calling it an abominable trade. He was also known to have violent outbursts, and Jones fled the West Indies after killing a man in 1773, changing his name to avoid detection. Despite this tricky background, Jones had garnered particular acclaim for his leadership on a ship when the captain and other top-ranking sailors died of yellow fever. Now considered one of the fathers of the U.S. Navy, Jones was assigned to lead the Bonhomme Richard during the American War of Independence. In the late 1770s, Jones embarked on several destructive raids. He and his crew would stop in a town, loot and pillage the most valuable properties, then board the ship to make their getaway. That's why the Serapis and the Countess of Scarborough, who were patrolling the seas for pirates, first made contact with Jones, because there was an entire squadron that was already looking for the Bonhomme Richard. The Serapis had more firepower than the Bonhomme Richard, and as the crew fought, it became clear that the British ship, loaded with dozens of built-in guns, was winning. The Serapis fired on the Bonhomme Richard, badly damaging it, but Jones was undeterred. In one famous exchange, the commander of the Serapis, Captain Richard Pearson, asked him if he wanted to surrender. Jones replied, quote, "I have not yet begun to fight." Jones tied the 2 ships together so the Serapis couldn't steer away. Another ship then joined Jones in the fight, and Pearson finally surrendered after realizing he was outnumbered. But the damage to the Bonhomme Richard was critical. For the next 36 hours, Jones and his crew frantically tried to make repairs. Jones decided to take over the Serapis as there was very little of his own ship that could be salvaged. Despite their best efforts, the Bonhomme Richard sank just hours later. Although the Bonhomme Richard had more sailors on board, each ship lost more than half of its crew members in the fight, and many who survived were badly burned. Jones took more than 500 Serapis and Countess of Scarborough crew members as prisoners. The ship itself was lost in the depths of the ocean for hundreds of years and is believed to have only recently been recovered. For years, many teams have searched for the wreckage with little success. The U.S. Navy tried to find the ship while they filmed the Mighty Ship series for the Discovery Channel, but came up empty-handed.
You can find a lot of shipwrecks, but if you're looking for one in particular, that adds a whole other dimension.
Then, in 2017, a team located remnants of the Bonhomme Richard along the British coastline in Yorkshire. They searched in Torpedo Alley, a spot known to house countless shipwrecks. There, they discovered an anchor, a bell, rigging materials, and beams that dated back to the 1700s, which strongly suggested it could be the Bonhomme Richard. Using X-rays and satellite images along with the physical evidence, experts now agree it's likely that the historical ship has been recovered at last. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Grunge videos about historical events are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.